Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, episode 17, Thor Ragnarok of the MCU Infinity Saga Sundays. Gosh, it's been a trip so far. And with me, I got the awesome real lady Thor. Right, Kitty, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good, thank you.
Alrighty. CJ should be pulling up with us soon. And in the chat, we got Vanya so far. How you doing, Vanya? Good to see you. And yeah, let me get my talking points up here. So, Thor Ragnarok. It's my least favorite of the Thor. Well, actually, of the Thor movies that I acknowledge. I do not acknowledge that Blood and Blunder or whatever it was. I mean, that movie literally put me in a depression, folks. No joke. But for the Infinity Saga, this was by far the weakest installment of the Thor trilogy.
I didn't like Dark World. I think it's still the weakest.
Dark World actually at least still held to Thor's mindset in the first one and in the Avengers. But anyway, before we get started, Riot Kitty, let everybody know where you can be found and what you're got in store on your video or on your channel and whatnot.
Well, I'm Riot Kitty, and I have a YouTube channel where I mainly do art, writing, and design with the occasional AMV. I just released a time-lapse video of my original characters for my comic Dollhouse XC, so if you want to check that out, that would be most appreciated, because that is of my original work, and it's very special to me. So, and as for videos, I'm steadily progressing on recording the next part of a rewrite of a show called Ribby by Rooster Teeth Animation. And yep, that's it.
Alrighty. Make sure you all sub to Riot Kitty. She is one of the humble. So yeah, as for me, folks, I will remind you at the end of the stream, but also Tuesday's mystery review is tomorrow instead, due to I have a surgery on Tuesday. So everybody has guessed it on Twitter. I am doing Time Cop for the mystery review on Monday 1:30 p.m. and 8:30 or 8 p.m. that night. I am also doing Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no is what it's called, or is the subtitle to that one. And that one is just insane. But it'll have to wait until tomorrow night, folks, to give any more on that.
Also, do you expect sanity for movies named Sharknado?
No, not really. That's why I like them so much, because they're insane. But also, Thursday Singles has been moved back a week due to I'm going to need time to heal from my surgery, as well as other circumstances. Mara will be busy that night as well, so we're moving it back to Thursday next week, and we're going to be talking Dog Soldiers, movie that is a cult or has achieved cult classic status over a year ago. So it is now finally able to be purchased on digital and other stuff. And I got that one immediately as I could because I really like that movie as much or as sci-fi channel movie as it is. I liked it. So yeah. And yeah, other than that, Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly Thursday, I will not be putting out any content. I'm sorry. Make sure that you all check to see if you're still subbed to me because, well, YouTube is pulling the shit again. Also, it is official. I have become a YouTube partner. However, I will not monetize for a year. I did make that promise. And also, it's a complicated process for somebody like me to monetize. So, yeah, don't expect to be putting any memberships or super chats. Sorry, I am not monetizing immediately. I can, but I am not. But now to Thor Ragnarok. This movie was done by Taika Waititi, who a lot of people, including in the Thor cast, agrees he ruined Thor. Just laying that out there, folks. However, I do find this movie, as much as I do not like this movie a lot, I still do find some parts of it enjoyable. And hello, Vader Fanatic. Good to see you. So, Thor in Muspelheim, which is the Fire Realm, home of Surtur, which, by the way, folks, I do have the portraits from Avengers Alliance up. So let me just pull this one up. We got Thor here, and now let me share, because this is one of the wonderful things that I do here, you know, for all you guys who are lucky enough to catch this on live. So let's share the screen. There we go. We got Thor here. And he's stuck in a cage talking to a, Bones. And he's held by Surtur, who, if I can...
He looks like Lionsgate Dormammu.
This, yeah, kind of. I mean, this is Surtur from Avengers Alliance. In the
movie, he's a lot more bony.
He's thinner. He's extremely thin. His sword is not as grand, but he is played and voiced by a great actor, Clancy Brown. I mean, that I will say, perfect freaking casting there. I like the bit. He's like, and where's your crown? This is my crown. Oh, I thought they were just giant eyebrows. It's a crown. I mean, that little bit of him being like, it's a crown. I'm like, oh gosh, dude. Shows that even gods from other realms can get pissed off at Thor just for him being silly. What did you think of this scene?
Oh, that's interesting. You get right into the main plot of the story, and it was definitely funny. Mm-hmm. For just be like, yeah, no context. We got got Thor spinning around in a prison. So. Yeah,
he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm totally not doing this myself, and I'm like, okay, but when I saw this in theaters, I'm like, this is a totally different Thor film. I mean, this movie did confuse me in theaters, but I still do like the effects of Thor or of Surtur, and I thought that it was actually a very well done effect or visual effects for it. However, one of the things I am not a fan of is the music for this movie, where you have a good score for 1 and 2. For Thor 1 and 2, this movie actually went away from score for the most part and put in music. And I'm thinking to myself, this is totally outside. Who did this movie? And then I learned that Taika Waititi was behind it, and I'm like, oh Christ. But I do like the Hellhound on Muspelheim, that big dragon dog thing that was chasing him, and we're all wondering why Heimdall's not rescuing him. Turns out that Scourge from Carl Urban is playing Scourge. Now, I do believe I have Scourge's portrait here, which is right, Scourge, as we all see here. Different armor in the movie.
I thought he was a memorable side character.
Oh, he was. Oh my God. His introduction is hilarious. His character is much more serious in comics in the game here, where he absolutely hates Thor. And he also has his own axe, the Blood Axe. But it's like he has a bunch of stuff. He's like, Heimdall didn't use the Bifrost for his own. I mean, somebody who could see and hear everything. You'd think that he would want more, right? Behold my stuff. Ooh. I'm thinking to myself, that is great. That is funny. That works. And he has 2 M16s, which, oh my god, nowadays, so scary. But what'd you think of Scourge and trying to get with the ladies and whatnot?
Oh, that was great. It was kind of just like the sheer contrast of like Thor arriving back to Asgard and then him just showing off, and it's like what's Heimdall? It's just
He's like, what's Heimdall? Oh, that traitor, he's been banned or exiled. It's like, what?
Yep.
I also love when he finally gets the brought back to Asgard. So does the dragon head, the guts, and all that stuff getting all over the women, and then slides right up to him, and its eye goes back from rolling backward to forward, looking at the women, and
that was disgusting.
It was. I admit it was. So he's like, "Wait, I'm supposed to announce you," and Thor just doesn't care. So we then see the Loki statue, and this god awful Matt Damon, Sam Neill, and somebody else. Freaking play of Loki, the fall of Loki, son of Asgard. And I'm thinking to myself, that's right. Odin was replaced, and it's Loki pretending to be him. And I'm thinking to myself, oh god. I mean, this scene here where Thor actually let's see here. Move that so I can bring out Loki. Just got to find him first. There he is. And there we go. So, yeah, Loki's pretending to be Odin. This is Loki from the game. He actually became a hero in the game that you could use because, well, yeah, people betrayed him and he didn't like that. But I love that when he sees Thor, he's like, oh, shit. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's definitely not Odin. Yep, Des and Troy, the M16s from Midgard. So what did you think of the scene with Loki being outed as Odin with the hammer trick?
Well, I think we all knew that was coming, so it's just like, and like basically like Thor kind of smacking him around a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I love. He's like, he throws the hammer, and he's like, now Mjolnir or nothing can stop Mjolnir from returning to my hand. He's like, you'll be exiled for this, and he's like, or you'll be executed for this. Then I'll see you on the other side, brother. Okay, I yield. He catches it because he realizes, oh shit, he's not bluffing.
Yep.
And he's like, what happened to Odin? Did you kill him? He's like, no, I didn't kill him. I sent him to Midgard. So I like how they actually do the switch where they don't really have to show them going over to the Bifrost again and turning the sword. They just Bifrost, turn sword. There you go, back to or on Midgard, looking for Odin. Now, folks, this is Odin from the game, and I gotta say, badass work here. Also, you have to fight him as one of the final bosses in the game because he was fully ready to sacrifice the earth in the game.
Yep.
But because well, after you beat his brother, it's like you guys need to understand that he's like, no, we don't care. You freaking closed off Earth from all other outside help, you bastard. But yeah. So Odin, where Odin was placed, is now Shady Acres rest home, and it's getting demolished. And I love that. It's like, and I like the suit that Loki was wearing. I mean, it's just like pure snake suit, dude. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, slick black suit where Thor is more dressed commonly, well, because he's humble. And somebody's like, "We're sorry that Jane dumped you." Jane didn't dump me, I dumped her. It was a mutual dumping. And instead of, or before we can get anywhere else, there's a swirl underneath Loki. Well, we all know who that is. Because right before anything can really happen, let's get over to him. We appear at Bleecker Street. Whoops, Bleecker Street.
Streaking.
Yeah, right. And we get Doctor Strange with his gloves in this one, mind you, which is kind of interesting because we never see him with the gloves ever again. This is the only time he has gloves on. And I'm wondering why. Because it's like, dude, seriously, why do you have those on? Because we never see it again, you know? And
well, I don't know. Maybe they're like, oh, let's like put gloves on him, and then in the preceding movies, like the designers are like, nah, no gloves.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was because Taika wanted it more comic accurate, and that's fine. I don't mind that because it's like, hey, if you're going for comic accuracy, good job on it because you actually did it. Cloak of levitation and the gloves and the blue, well done. And I love how he's just teleporting all throughout Bleecker Street house or the Sanctum. And he's like, please stop doing that.
Yeah, the effects are really good for Doctor Strange in this one, in the short time he's in the movie.
Yep. And then he's like, you see, I'm compiling a list of all dangerous peoples in the world, and your brother is right at the top of it, a worthy inclusion. And he also has him drink, he's like, some tea? I do not drink tea. Well, what do you drink? Not tea. And then it turns into ale. So he drinks it, and then about 3/4 of the way down, and it refills. He's like, okay, so Earth has wizards. And so they're looking for Odin, and he's like, so if I were to tell you where Odin is, you and all parties will promptly return to Asgard? Promptly. Great. This way. And so he's like, oh, yeah, my brother. Oh, right. I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Like,
that was good.
Where was he falling from?
I feel like he was just falling through multiple different realms for a while.
I mean, it would be cool if he was, but it'd be like, wow, dude, that would be funny. I mean, it would also be funnier too if he was falling through a looped teleportation ring, which would also be hilarious. Oh shit. But yeah. So they send him to Norway, and I will be right back. I just need to grab something quickly.
Okay.
So keep him busy.
All right. I'll keep him busy. So, what do you think? Let's see. Rating all the Thor movies. I know it's like, don't acknowledge Love and Thunder, but still a Thor movie, even if it's bad. Like, I don't know. I honestly, I put probably first Thor movie, awesome. Third Thor movie. So this one that we're talking right now. Second, Dark World third, and Love and Thunder fourth place. I guess it's kind of fitting. The last Thor movie would be in last place. So, yeah. And honestly, it had a really good critical audience reception. So, yeah. Seems like a lot of people like this movie. Oh, hello. Hello again.
And I'm back. So, we then are in Norway. So, what were you talking about?
Bonja's comment. That's funny.
Oh, Des and Troy? Yeah. Those were the names of Scourge's weapons. So, getting back to Norway, we're, Let's remove it so we can go back to Odin, because that is where Odin is. And
Oh no, I think we lost him. No, I don't know how to host a stream with only one person, which is me, the host. I guess I'm not the host right now, but well, I guess.
yeah, all right, I'm back. Sorry about
All
that.
right.
Small hiccup in the. It's not the same problems as they used to have. This is just a small hiccup
Okay.
in the power for some weird reason. But yeah, I like how Odin is still kind of a very you almost kind of think he might actually still be under Loki's spell, because he's like, my son's Frigga calls me, can you hear her? And Thor tells him, he's like, Loki, lift your magic, and he shakes his head. It's like, this isn't me. Or this isn't from me, man. And I like how Odin actually acknowledges that. He's like, took me a while to break free from your spell. Frigga would be proud. And he also, notice when he says, my sons, he actually acknowledges
Yep.
Loki there. Which Loki actually, he's like, he's actually calling me out, or his son. So, which is nice. And
well, yeah, I think he's always considered Loki his son. So.
Yeah, he did. I mean, in the second one, he didn't, because Loki had truly crossed the line in that one.
Yeah.
But he still did mourn him. Now, we then get the truth bomb of Thor's not the firstborn of Odin. It turns out there was another one who was born, and it was the daughter of Odin in this or in the MCU, not in the comics, because Hela is actually the daughter of Loki in the comics and in Norse mythology. Which, let me see here. There's Loki, and well, no, that's later. There's Hela in the comics and also in Avengers Alliance game.
I mean, I think they did pretty decent accuracy on it.
Yeah, I think they did too. They kept her green, which is nice. And after Odin, or before Thor and Loki could have it out, because, well, Loki is indeed Thor is indeed very pissed off right now. I mean, you can see the lightning coming from his fingers and the storm coming. Well, before they could even get to blows, somebody comes through a portal, and it is Galadriel from Lord of the Rings after a really bad whiskey bender. No, actually, it's Hela, folks. But it is what's her name, Cate Blanchett, who plays her. Now, in the I remember the teaser trailer from this movie where Thor throws the hammer at her and she stops it. It was in a city background. It was like in an alley. Do you remember that from the teaser?
No, I don't think I ever saw the teaser for this movie. That's interesting.
But yeah, and then she busts the hammer and they spin out from the city or the city alley, and you see just lightning just light up the whole place because she destroys the hammer, which it's like, holy crap, dude. This woman just got out of exile and she's strong enough to shatter Mjolnir. Which I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And Loki promptly freaks out. He's like, bring us back! And, well, Odin did warn them, if she makes it to Asgard, her powers will be limitless because she draws her strength from Asgard. So it's like, why would you call the Bifrost? You dumbasses. It would be better if you fought her here. But, yep, we get the Bifrost battle, which is, holy shit, she knocks Loki right out of the Bifrost, and then Thor gets out of the Bifrost, and so she returned. And it's the Warriors 3, which I do have here for all to see. We got, let's see here. That's World War Hulk, Loki, Odin, Scourge. Scourge is doing the sweeping. Thor got knocked out. That's Valkyrie. We got Fandral, Warrior 3 Fandral, which is good likeness.
Yeah.
Hogan, good likeness again. And Volstagg, another good likeness. Ray Stevenson, man. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. And so Hela, I like how when she comes through, you actually see her suit reconstitute a little more and get a little more green instead of all black, meaning she's gaining strength because now she is back on Asgard. And it's like, who are you? Where's Thor? And so she just kills Fandral and Volstagg like that. And it's like, damn, dude, that's just not cool. What were your thoughts about her coming back to Asgard and the Bifrost battle? And her coming back after Odin died?
Oh yeah, she she just struts in there and then well, she's probably even more full of herself than Loki is, but she's actually got this strength to back it up because she destroys Mjolnir with one hand.
Yep.
So yeah, the Bifrost battle really does show like how powerful she really is, and then yeah, she's quickly gaining strength back. So
yeah. And let me see here. Got to get the talking points back, folks. So we are then taken to Sakaar after after Scourge kneels. She's like, "You got good survival instincts," and he's like, "I'm just a janitor." And so he serves her. So we are then brought to Sakaar, which Thor and Loki arrived at 2 different times. I mean, Loki earlier on the Bifrost got ejected, where Thor got ejected shortly after, but it's still a 3-week span of time between them.
Yeah, I think it's probably just like the whole
time and space gig.
Time space conundrum. It's
Yep.
it's just like, okay, like he falls quicker because he went in first, and then the gap between them gets larger as they both keep falling. So so then, and that's how it ends up being 3 weeks.
Yeah. And Thor is like just passed through, and they throw a shock net on him, and I'm like, isn't this dude the god of thunder? Electricity shouldn't really harm him. And then we get introduced to Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie. Now, folks, this is Valkyrie from the game and from the comics. Blonde Brunhild. Great Valkyrie, you know? And 5s for days. What did you think of Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie?
She definitely came off as like a very jaded, like kind of like, I don't want to say like, I don't know, like
drunk.
Yeah, like a bit of a jaded drunk. So
yep.
I'd say kind of like Thor in Endgame.
Yeah.
Like reversed.
Kind of, yeah, actually.
So, yeah. I do like the hair on this one better.
Yeah, the longer braids.
Yeah.
And they actually do have a version of her in the movie when we see when Loki fights her and forces her to see the memories of her last stand against Hela, which there is another Valkyrie that looks just like this one who is killed in front of Valkyrie or Brunhild. So they paid a little bit of a tribute there.
Yep.
But I love it when she comes in. He's mine, and then she just falls over drunk. What? And so she then just slaughters all of them, and she's like, "Apologies, Your Majesty," and shocks him again. So one second. We are then brought back to Asgard, and Valkyrie, or Hela, is giving a speech. I love this speech. She's just like, "The princes are dead. You're welcome. And we are, so who wants to join me on my great conquest?" And Hogan is there, and he's like, "Whoever you are, surrender. Whoever I am. Did you not hear a word I said?" But she just slaughters all of them. And I gotta say, Hogan lasted longer than the other two, which was kind of ridiculous. I mean, they brought Zachary Levi from Shazam back just to frickin' murder him like in 2 seconds. And but Tadanobu Asano, great actor, he plays Hogan. And the Einherjar, which are Odin's elite warriors, get slaughtered. I mean, she single-handedly slaughters all of them. And then she's like, or she sees that she's like, "Oh, still alive." And he starts calling her hag and other shit, so she just finally finishes it off. And you see that Scourge is not comfortable in this situation. I mean, did you notice that Carl Urban is like playing it like, "Oh my God, I could die at any minute here."
Yeah.
So he's just being as compliant as possible. So then we get an intro to the Grandmaster, where now, if you pay attention to the music where Thor is getting wheeled down, it is the same from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. "Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination." Just without the lyrics. And then this voice, which kind of sounds like Ellen Page, is like, "You're going to meet the Grandmaster in 5 seconds. You're now meeting the Grandmaster." And Thor just starts screaming like a bitch. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you screaming? I mean, honestly, man, you're an Asgardian. Face this shit. So then we're introduced to Mr. Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum. Gotta say, folks, Jeff Goldblum as a Grandmaster. Yeah, this dude is, well, a lush, a tyrant, a sex maniac, all rolled into one.
I do love Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster.
Hey, I'm not complaining. He did great. I mean, he's like, Scrapper 142, which is Valkyrie, and Topaz, Grandmaster's other second in command, is just waiting for an opportunity to talk. And he's like, what did I say about Scrapper 144 or 142? It starts with a B, trash. What? Were you just waiting to say that? Doesn't even start with a B. Booze hag. I mean, this woman seriously hates Valkyrie. We don't know why, but she just really hates her, you know? And I love this whole scene because, yes, Thor breaks out of his bonds and then is put back into his bonds. And he's like, "Oh, those sparkles? Not really thunder, but yeah." And then you see Loki and he's like, "What are you doing here? What am I doing here? What do you mean? What are you doing here?" He's like, "I've been here for weeks." "What do you mean, weeks? I just got here." Bifrost kicked me out and whatnot. And then he's like, gotta help me out here. I can't do that. I've made friends with this man. He's like, why are you whispering? Ah! I love that. It's like, why are you whispering? Ah! The way that Thor just reacts. Like,
Yeah.
ah! You see, time is very funny here. In any other world, I'm millions of years old, but here, well, and he just smiles. He just gives that grin. He's like, so they put him in with, or into the freaky circle room with Korg and Meek. Korg, who is a Cronin, and I love this. He's like, "Hey man, I'm Korg. This is Meek," and Taika Waititi provides the voice for Korg and the acting, the body acting, and I love this. He's like, so Korg wants to start or tried starting a revolution, but didn't have enough pamphlets, so nobody turned up except my mom and her boyfriend, whom I hate. And I love it. It's like, dude, he's just a very talkative rock. And so Thor tries running LA. Turns out he's like, wait, oh, this is a circle, but not a circle, a freaky circle. The only thing that makes sense here is that nothing makes sense.
I suppose.
Yeah. So he's like, so what's this grand champion that that I gotta kill? He's like, oh, nobody's killed the grand champion. Just ask Doug. Hey, Doug. Oh yeah, Doug's dead. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, Doug. No. Oh, wait, Doug's dead.
Oh yeah. And I like Meek because he's this insect with cybernetically extended blades for arms and legs, which is pretty cool. And so we get to or go back to Asgard after talk of the Grand Champion. And now Hela is in the main hall. And she's like, what is this? Or she sees the facade that Odin had put up. She's like, Odin, glad to happy to have it, ashamed of how he got it. And she reveals the true origins of Asgard instead of this angelic facade of the suns and of the treaty between Jotun and Asgard. There's instead the bloodshed and the true horror of Odin and Hela, where Odin also had a very much like Hela's crown. He also has one. She is also wielding Mjolnir and rides the back of Fenrir, which also is Odin, or is another one of Loki's kids. Loki has many children, folks.
Yep. He gets freaky with a lot of things.
Yeah. You know that 8-legged horse that Odin rode?
Yep.
Sleipnir is a child of Loki. Don't ask how he got, or don't ask how he had a baby.
Later, like Fenris is also a child of Loki.
Yep, Fenris is a child of Loki.
Yep, he screwed him.
Pretty sure he did. Yep. He did a horse. He did a wolf.
He did
it all.
I think a frost giant. I think
Loki is basically an all sexual, shall we say, an everything sexual. He's done men, women, animals. He does it all. Let's just say that. In mythology, folks. In the MCU, Fenris is not Fenrir, but Fenris instead, because, well, that would just be too on the nose. And I do like it. We see that she indeed was a conqueror alongside Odin, but her appetites grew too large, shall we say. And we then go down to the vault where Scourge is there, and he's like, Odin's treasure room. Fake! She pushes over an Infinity Gauntlet, which we saw in the first movie, but is there again. She's like, fake! Shoves it over. Everything in this vault is fake or weak. And she calls the Jotunheim casket weak. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that thing could freeze a world. So, wouldn't exactly call it weak, would you? But then she sees the Tesseract and she's like, that's not bad. And she's like, this is what I'm looking for, the eternal flame. And so she busts a hole in the floor where the dead of Asgard's elite were buried. And she wakes him up with the eternal flame, and she sees Fenris, who is also decaying, and he comes back. Now, get this, folks. If you take a close look at Fenris when he's laying down dead, he's bone. He's some hair, but mostly bone.
Yep.
When she wakes him up, the zombie Draugr Einherjar that were woken up still have their dead look. Fenris is fully reconstituted. So it's like, there's a lot of inconsistencies here. But, hey.
You could say, like, it's kind of like a form of necromancy that just enhances, like, the corpses.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
I mean, also it could be explained that, well, she prefers Fenris to look his best, you know?
Yeah.
Fenris was her friend, and, well, yeah.
Technically her sibling.
Yeah. But she's like, Fenris, my darling, look what they did to you. And it's like, darling, don't tell me you're getting freaky, woman.
Maybe they replaced Loki getting freaky.
Yeah, probably. Anyway. I mean, folks,
Norse mythology is full of weird stuff.
Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology. There's a lot of fucking freaky sex and incest in all those mythologies, folks. Just calling it as it is. Don't even ask how the Jotuns mate. I mean, you really don't want to know. But so we then get Loki visiting Thor, who is giving his final prayer to Odin, which is nice. It's it's a reminiscent. It's a lot longer than what I know, because the Norse prayer for death that I know is, lo there do I see my father, lo there do I see my mother, my sister, and my brothers, lo there do I see the line of my people back to the beginning, lo they do call to me, they bid me take my place among them in the halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever. But there's an extension to what is said after that, which both Loki and Thor recite. I wouldn't exactly say omnisexual, because I actually looked up omnisexual, and it's not what I thought it would have been. I mean, I can't even remember what it means, to be completely...
Omnipotent sexual.
Yeah. I mean, well, omnisexual. People who identify as omnisexual are attracted to all of the gender identities and sexual orientations. Right. No. Nope. No. That is actually something that, if anybody identifies as omnisexual, I would seriously have them locked up, because if they identify with all of the sexual orientations, that means they also are sexually attracted to people who are also maps, as they call them, or in the way that I call them, pedos. So yeah, omnisexual, not something to dip your stick into, folks. So I like this discussion between Loki and Thor, where Thor's just tossing pebbles at him. He's like, you really didn't think I would actually be here, did you? I mean, look at this place. It's disgusting. And he's like, now this grand champion, I hear, is very brutal. So I've placed a large wager on him. Don't disappoint me. Would you just say something? Our sister shattered your hammer like glass. And Sakaar's wonderful. I mean, I can just continue to build up my favor with him, and then... And I just love that. He's like, would you just say something? And he's like, well, what would you like me to say? You kidnapped our father. You impersonated him. You let the 9 realms delve into, or just dwindle into chaos. and our father is dead. Shall I go past further than just the last 2 days?
I mean, I do like the banter between Thor and Loki in this one the
Yeah,
best. They do really feel like estranged, bickering siblings.
they really do.
A lot, so.
And then after he goes, or he walks out of there, Korg goes to kick the door. He's like, piss off, Ghost. He's freaking gone. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I understand why people love Core.
Yeah, he's silly. I get it. But it's like, freaking gone. So we then see where they're all getting ready for getting into the arena. And he's like, hey, Thor, would you like this pipe? Or he's like, no. Yeah, I know. It probably would only work if you were fighting 3 vampires all huddled together. And so he's like, what? I really wish I had your hammer, or my hammer. Your hammer? Yeah, I used to, or I would spin it really fast, and then it would give me the ability to fly. You rode a hammer? No, I didn't ride the hammer. The hammer rode you on your back. No, I would spin it really fast, and then I would throw it, and it would pull me off. Oh my God, the hammer pulled you off. No, it would just cause me to lift off from the ground. And it was truly awesome. He's like, sounds like this hammer, or you and this hammer had a very close and intimate relationship, and losing it would be akin to losing a loved one. Yes, it's a good way of putting it. And I'm thinking to myself, jeez, the hammer pulled you off. For those of you who don't know, most people would know. Overseas would know. Pulled you off is basically another way of saying climax, shall we say, for a guy anyway. And so, we then get to, or they're like, Scrapper 142. He's like, yeah, that's the woman who put me in here. Got to be careful of those Asgardians. They are extremely tough to perish. Asgardian. So he tries getting her attention, and he's like, oh, wait, you're a Valkyrie. I always wanted to be a Valkyrie until I realized they were all women. But yeah, women warriors, greatest things ever. Finally, or really cool. It's like, dude, you would have known what Valkyries were a while for 1,500 years of your life. You would have known what they were. This just doesn't make sense. But anyway, he tries getting her pissed off. He's like, well, then you're either a coward or you're a traitor. And she's like, hey, guess what? I'm not a Valkyrie. I'm not an Asgardian. I'm a scrapper. And I'm making money off of this. So, yeah, fuck you. She doesn't care, you know? So the main event, or before we get to the main event, we get the haircut by Stan Lee.
Yeah, like it's like a freaking surgical device to like cut hair, basically.
Like, yeah, be careful. My hands aren't as steady as they once were. You, by Odin's will, you will not cut my hair. It's like these freaking saws just start spinning rapidly.
Bro, honestly, like you're gonna cut his head, like chop his
dude, this
face
is what
up.
you would use to eviscerate somebody. Holy shit!
Yeah, that looks like a torture device and a haircut.
Right? Right?
Yeah. So you know what? I understand Thor being like, no.
Yeah. Right. So he gets, he gets his hair cut, and so then we get to the main event, and Thor comes out with his helmet that sort of is reminiscent to the winged helmet that is from mythology. And, well, we finally realized what happened to Hulk. Hulk landed on Sakaar after the fight with Ultron. So let's get over to Hulk here. And this is basically his look, which is the World War Hulk. Except that he has a hat on instead of a coronet, and he has axe and a hammer and is ready to just slaughter. And I love Thor's reaction. Yes! And Loki's reaction is like, I need to get out of here.
Well, yeah, after what happened to him in Avengers, I don't think he'd like Hulk very much.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because during this fight, Hulk smashes Thor the same way. He actually does the same smash that he did to Loki and did it the same way. That's why Loki jumps up. He's like, yes, that's how it feels. And I'm thinking to myself, well, there you go. Yeah.
You got a little bit of revenge.
Yep. And it's like, hey, Banner, no Banner, only Hulk. And so he starts fighting. He's like, hey, man, don't worry, Banner. I'll get you out. And he starts beating the crap out of Hulk. And everybody's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, like I do love like Thor. Like he's actually genuinely happy to see Hulk, a familiar face.
Yeah.
Not one that's Loki's, but then it just like starts beating him up.
Yep, because Hulk's kicking the shit out of him. And then he's like, oh, fuck this. Bam! Just hammers him across the barrier between the spectators and the fight. And I love the reaction from the Grandmaster. He's like, what? So then Hulk starts wailing on him again, and he tries doing the lullaby that Black Widow tries doing, and it's like, nobody's gonna hurt you anymore. Sun's getting real low. And he's like, I'm not gonna hurt you anymore. And so he's trying to get him, and you think that this might actually work, except that's when Hulk grabs him and does the Hulk smash on him. And then he just starts beating him, and we get this cut to Odin and back to Thor and then back to Odin again. So it's basically like he's on death's door at this point. And then suddenly his inner power awakens, and he just starts beating the fuck out of the Hulk. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, holy crap, I love this. And I like how Loki even reacts to it. It's like, huh, this is interesting. So what did you think about that, where it cuts to Odin looking on him, and then he starts awakening his inner power?
I thought that was really cool. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, so basically, like, he's learning how to harness his power without the hammer.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
And then
like the glow effect as well, with like the lightning coming out. It's like it reminds me of this anime. It's called like Kuroko's Basket. It's like kind of like you're in the zone, basically.
Yeah. This movie has some things in common with Shrek the Third. Both feature a blonde man helped by a wizard and a green monster getting his throne. The Immigrant Song was in both movies. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that song. It never, it just never clicked with me. But I like how the Grand Master, he's starting to get worried, but just as Thor's about to do the coup de grace on Hulk, he stands up and cheats and stops the fight, which pisses off everybody because they were all starting to chant thunder, thunder, instead of Hulk, 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 Well, then we see the Hulk jump up really high. Another day, another Doug. And you also see Valkyrie she was sitting on her ship. She's like, oh, shit. Because I love when she also reacts. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, he wasn't kidding when he said he was the son of Odin. But when she starts walking away because she saw that there was a cheat from the Grand Master, I like how she turns away, and that's when the Hulk reaches her height and then starts dropping, and it's like Thor's just laying there like, no! Because it just goes rapidly zooming into his face.
Yeah, just like freaking huge blast, pretty much.
Yep. It's like, oh, shit. And then it's out cold. So, also, while in Asgard earlier, we saw Heimdall come up and steal the sword, the Bifrost sword. So, let's see here. we then cut back to Heimdall saving some Asgardians from the Draugrs, and we see that Thor and Hulk start to chat, and we get the naked Hulk, and it's like, there's a very naked Hulk, and it's now in my brain. And we get to see Hulk's ass, and it's like, I'm a fan of Hulk, but I'm not that kind of fan of Hulk, you know? I mean, that's mostly for the ladies. Let's just say that.
A little bit.
I mean, well, we can understand why, or I'm pretty sure that now Thor understands why Nat would want some of that Hulk, you know? But yeah, folks, I do believe I did discuss during the event or the first Avenger stream of that little parody clip that somebody created where Hulk went to Pound Town on Nat in the first Avengers. And then it turns out shortly later, Avengers Ultron is released, and well, who was an item in this movie? Nat and Hulk, and I'm like, dude, Whedon, you didn't have to take it, or you didn't have to take cues from that freaking parody skit, you know? Every time I hear Clancy Brown's voice from Surtur, I immediately think of Baron Praxis from Jake and Daxter, or Jack and Daxter. And Matt Damon previously played Loki in the Kevin Smith movie Dogma.
Oh, interesting.
Did not know that. Probably why they brought him in to play Loki in this one. And you barely even recognize him as either because he's like fat, or you see a lot of, well, looks like he gained weight in the face, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we then see that the Quinjet survived, and we let's see here. He then, or after Thor goes, or after Hulk goes to train, Thor is stuck in the room, so he's asking for Heimdall to help him. And I like how Heimdall is getting the Asgardians out, but he then looks and sees that Thor is indeed calling to him.
Oh, and yeah, you know what? Did that like give you like Witcher vibes in like the woods or whatever? Like he's just
kinda,
or like Robin Hood almost.
It was pretty cool to actually see.
Yeah.
And he then, or we see that Thor now has Heimdall eyes. And so it's like, oh, that's cool. And so I like Heimdall's discussion with him. He's like, I see you, but you're far away. And we, or he's explaining what's going on Asgard. And he's like, well, how do I get you? Or I don't even know where I am. You're on a planet with multiple doorways. Go through one. Which one? The big one. And then he swings the sword through Thor to kill one of the Draugrs. And I really do like that scene because it shows that Heimdall is more than just the all-seer and all-knower.
Oh yeah, like he can interfere with things that he sees or like is connected to.
Connect with somebody who is who is trying to communicate with him. Yeah. He can allow them to see through his eyes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It kind of reminds me of like Raven from Teen Titans. That scene where like she looks into Robin's eyes.
Raven recently made her debut into Death Battle. The people who own Rooster Teeth.
Okay.
Yeah, she went up against Phoenix and won from Marvel.
Huh.
So yeah, it's like I wouldn't want to fuck with Raven.
I wouldn't want to screw with either Raven or Phoenix.
Well,
they're both terrifying.
They're both universal enders. Let's just say that they could end universes if they tapped into their fullest potential. Not to mention Trigon's no joke anyway, or either. But anyway, back to Marvel.
Jesus, yeah.
Back to Marvel. and wondering where CJ is. I'm sorry, folks. I thought she would be here by now. I'm guessing she was putting the kids to sleep.
Yeah, maybe she got held up, but
Yeah, that's fine. We can handle it.
yes.
So, let's see here. We also get a look at, or a better look at the Grandmaster's Tower of Champions, so to speak. And if you look at the tower, folks, you will actually notice that there are former champions. By Beast, which has two heads on top of each other. Beta Ray Bill, which is the Corbinite that I really should have put their because I actually do have them. So you know what? I'm going to. Let's see here. Ares and Beta Ray Bill. Because Ares, the god of war, was also a champion. MCU character. Ares wasn't in there. Neither was Beta Ray Bill, technically, but their faces are on the tower, and they're making Hulk's face on the tower. They're still actually constructing it, which is pretty fun. Let's see here. All right. All heroes and skins. A-Bomb, Ares. There's one. And Beta Ray Bill. Here's the other. And we're going to share this tab instead. All right. Here's Beta Ray Bill, for those of you who don't know who he is. Beta Ray
Sadly,
Bill.
I've only seen him in like one thing.
Yeah, it was the Planet Hulk movie, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Planet Hulk movie.
And
I wish he was in more stuff. He seemed pretty cool.
Yep. His he is also one of the only other characters aside from Thor to be worthy to hold Mjolnir. So Odin gave him favor and made another axe and hammer for him, which he is holding. And this one is called Stormbreaker.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a judge's gavel.
Mm-hmm. There's an axe on the other side of it, and
yep.
Let's see here. This one, or another hero, is Ares, the god of war.
Oh yeah.
Now, in the game, folks, he doesn't just have a sword and axe. He also has a pistol, and he also has a freaking minigun. So it's like, dude, yeah. I mean, he's
all decked out, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's god of war, so it makes sense. And I like how in the game they have what's known as hero battles, where a specific hero is needed to do a certain battle. They actually have War Machine go up against Ares. And it's like, you want to call yourself the War Machine? You better make sure you earn that shit, boy. And freaking War Machine's like, okay. So you basically have to use War Machine to fight Ares, and it's a great fight too in the game. But back to the movie, I like how there's the fight between, or there's the arguments with the Hulk, because the Hulk he doesn't want to leave. Earth hates Hulk. He's like, Earth hates Hulk. No, Earth loves Hulk. And he's like, you're Banner's friend. You're not Hulk's friend. You're Banner's friend. I don't even like Banner. Oh, numbers, science. I hate all that shit. I like you. And so then they
even though I don't think Hulk's buying that, because you know you've actually previously gotten beat up to get back.
Yeah. And then he's like, or he starts throwing shit at each other, and he throws a shield at him. He's like, "Are you crazy?" Yes. And he's holding up a huge freaking mace. And it's like, yes. It's like, oh my god, it's so great. And he's like, "I need your help, Hulk." So after they reconcile, he's like, "I need your help." And so he's like, "All right." So he brings in Valkyrie, and Valkyrie, or he's like, "Fine, stay." He's like, "I need her to stay." And so he rips off the top of his bed and throws it in the doorway. He's like, "Stay, please." So
it's like trapping her in the.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, you have until I finish, or I'll give you until I finish this bottle. And so she starts drinking, and he starts talking, and she's not even, or she polishes that drink off in like 3 seconds or 4 seconds flat. And I'm thinking, nope, that's alcohol poison.
Yep.
She's like, right, bye. Odin is dead. Well, that's what actually gets her to pause. And Hela is returned. If Hela's returned, then Asgard's already lost. And so he's like, I tried fighting her off. I'm sick of the whole golden sham and all the family drama. She wants nothing to do with it. And you know what? After what she lost, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I mean, she lost her friends, possibly, or because it's confirmed that she's bisexual. So she probably, one of those Valkyrie were also probably getting it on with her.
Who knows? But yeah, I mean, yeah, basically like her whole squad. So.
Yep. And
too.
Yeah. And so we then see him grab her wrist, but then she turns around and gets close, and he's reaching down. She's like, "Don't get familiar." And he's like, fine. Thank you. For what? This. And he holds up the thing that's connected to his neck, so he pulls that out, and he's like, "So I'm going to go. I'm going to stop Hela." And yeah, because that is what heroes gets hit with the ball because he throws it out the window. And it's like, really? Because that is what heroes do, you know? And every time he tries saying that, including earlier when he was talking to Surtur about not being able to stop Ragnarok, it's like, because that's what heroes do. You know what? I timed that wrong because he's calling his hammer. And yes, Odin did indeed lose more. And so we then get to him busting out and getting to the Quinjet, and he's trying to get the password. Strongest Avenger. Access denied. Strongest Avenger. Access denied. God damn you, Stark. Point Break. Access granted. Which is hilarious because he was actually in the remake of Point Break.
Yep.
So we then see Hulk coming. He's like, "Friend, stay!" But he accidentally triggers Nat's last message to him. And it's like, oh shit. So also, I think Scarlett Johansson had to come in and redo that scene because there was extra added dialogue from Age of Ultron that we didn't hear.
Okay.
So then we see Banner come back out, and he's like, "Thor, what happened to your hair?" "I had it cut off." He's like, "Hey, looks good." "Oh, thank you." And he's like, what happened? Did we win? What happened to Sokovia? Sokovia, Ultron, that was like 2 years ago, dude. I've been in the Hulk for 2 years. And he's like, what the hell? It was totally different. It's like, usually each one of us has a hand on the wheel, but this time it's like I was locked in the trunk and Hulk had the keys.
Yeah, he's properly freaking.
Yeah, he's totally properly freaking. He's like, "You want me to?" Or these are Tony's clothes. He's like, "Yeah, well, I couldn't find, or we'll just have to do." He's like, why you dressed like that?" oh, I'm in disguise. And he's like, well, all right, well, I'm Tony Stark. I'm in disguise too. Well, why'd you give me Tony's clothes then? Because those were the only ones that would fit you. Okay, that's a fair point. And he starts freaking out because he's realizing he's on a different planet, and he thinks that if he turns into the Hulk again, he'll never turn back into Banner. So Loki and Valkyrie are dragged before the Grand Master, and they're told to find the beloved champion and the Lord of Thunder, which is Thor. And we get the fight between Loki and Valkyrie. And he's like, you're a Valkyrie? I thought the Valkyries died all horrible, gruesome deaths. Choose your words, or choose your next words carefully. Must be a very terrible dream or memory. And I just love how he grabs her head and forces her to relive it. It's like, that's a very cruel thing to do.
Oh yeah.
But hey, she breaks free and then lays him out. I mean, it's like, oh, you. It's just like really quick. And so Banner is acting like an asshole, and Thor is like, how many people? Or he's like, I don't even like the Hulk. The Hulk wants to smash everything. I like you, really. But in this case, the Hulk is more needed, you know. And so, yeah, he's like, I just want to forget about the Hulk. And then he turns around with a huge splash of green right in his face. And it's like, well, okay then. Yeah. You're not forgetting the Hulk anytime soon, buddy. There's a Hulk parade in front of you. So then Valkyrie finds him, and she's like, I want to join your team. I really want to put a sword through that murderous hag. What's your team called? The Revengers. Revengers? Yeah, I want revenge. And you want revenge? And what about you, Bruce? You want revenge? I'm undecided. Well, we both want revenge, so Revengers. Okay, well, I have a peace offering. And she shows Loki there, tied up. And this is the first time that that Bruce and Loki have seen each other since the first Avengers movie. So it's like, oh shit. So it's like, hello, Bruce. So are you good or bad? It varies day by day. And so they're discussing what to do, and I love how frickin' Loki's like, why not just set the beast loose? You guys have a beast? No, we don't have a beast. It's like, because now frickin' Valkyrie's like, you guys have a beast? Cool. Yeah, but, and her and Bruce, they're like, I feel like I know you. I feel like I know you too. They can't quite put their head, or their head to it, or whatever the turn of phrase is. Can't put their finger on it. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they're like, we got to go through one of those portals. Which one? That one.
The devil's anus.
And I'm thinking to myself, and freaking Bruce is like, anus? What anus? What are you talking about?
Whose anus are we going?
Whose anus are we going through? Yeah, it's like, I did not know it was called that until just now, so we still got to go through it. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I expect this from Joss Whedon. To be completely honest, I expect that from Joss Whedon.
No, I don't.
Well, yeah, true. Let's just say I've seen a lot of Joss Whedon stuff. A lot of it is sexualized. We'll leave it at that. So it's like, they gotta steal a ship, and it just turns out that he's like, if I may interject, she just chucks a bottle at him. I have the Grandmaster security codes for his ships. And he's like, oh, so you're gonna give it to him out of the goodness of her heart, right? No, but I do want to get out of here. So it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to cause a diversion. So the door gets blasted open to the Freaky Circle, and Korg's there, and she's like, which one of you is Korg? Who's asking? Well, I know it's you asking, but anyway. Lord of Thunder sends his regards, throws him to cannon. The revolution has begun. It's like, oh god. So So now Topaz and Grandmaster are talking, and it's like, how does this happen? What's going on? The slaves have armed themselves. I told you I don't like that word. That S word, it's not a. All right, well, the people or the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Really? You don't like the word slave and you are literally a tyrant. Well, progressive. But anyway, we see Loki and Thor busting in to the place, shooting up the place and I love this. They're climbing an elevator and he's like, you know what we should do? Get help. I am not doing get help. No, I hate it's humiliating. I'm not doing get help. And so I love how the elevator door, get help, somebody get help, my brother.
And then Thor just throws Loki at the.
Yeah, he's like, somebody help him! He just throws him.
And then basically, Loki just does like a spin kick thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, that was so humiliating. And I love it because you see that Loki, you see Loki split off from himself, which is cool because it's one of his magic tricks that he does.
Yep.
And then he's like, well, it wouldn't really make a difference. And that's when Thor's like, oh, Loki. Well, it's not that I'm betraying you this time. It's nothing personal. It's just I'm going to make a lot of money when I finally capture you. So he's like, oh, Loki,
yep, I have a bounty on you. So.
I kind of expect you to do that, dude. So, yeah. He shows the shock thing, and Loki notices Thor patted me on the back. Oh, shit. And he starts shocking him, and he leaves the shocker on. And it's like, dude, it would have just been so freaking hilarious if that when Korg crushed the thing, that he found Loki in a puddle of piss. Because for those of you who don't know, if you get shocked a lot, you lose control over some of your bodily functions and also that area too. So yeah, you will piss yourself if you are electrified enough. So yeah. And yes, Thor lost more. Sorry, Vanya. And hey, Futch Norris, good to see you. Or Fuck Norris, as they call, or as it is, but I call it Futch Norris. I
call it Fuck Norris.
Fuck Norris. Fuck Norris. But anyway, we then get the aerial battle, which Topaz just really wants to kill Valkyrie, and Valkyrie is jumping between ships, and Thor has to jump between ships and leaving Banner to drive the ship. And it's like, it's a leisure crew, or it's a leisure ship. Leisure ship, there's no weapons. Leisure ship? Yeah, it's where the Grandmaster has parties and orgies and stuff. It's like, orgy? Yeah. Did she just say orgies? Yeah, don't touch anything. I wouldn't want to even touch that ship, dude. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like Peter Quill said about his own ship, if I had a black light, this place would look like a Jackson Pollock painting. Pretty sure if you had a black light, it would just...
It would just be all blue. It would just be blue. Like
something tells me that Grandmaster is a lot more leisurely than Peter Quill. Let's just say that, folks.
Yeah, probably.
So they win the battle.
They would get along.
Yeah, they probably would. I mean, Peter Quill on Sakaar would probably be a real big recipe for disaster of sexual proportions.
Funny disaster.
Yeah. And so they have to go through the anus, and they go through the anus, and the arrival on Asgard. And so they're like, all right, well, I got you this from the vault, or from the armory. And she gets her old uniform back in her, and she already had her dragon fang, which was a sword of the Valkyrie. And he gets her a gun, and she's like, Your Majesty, don't die. You know what I mean? And it's like, with the way that it is in some of these scenes, you almost kind of think that Valkyrie and Thor might actually get it on, or might actually form a relationship, you know?
I did hear that like earlier scripts did more like a romantic subplot, so.
Yeah. I mean, that could indeed be a thing.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's like, you know what? Truth is, before I knew Tessa Thompson was a complete degenerate, I wouldn't have had a problem with that. I mean, hey, she's actually quite attractive. I'm not gonna lie. But when Thor gets to the back into the palace, we see that he's looking at at that bust of himself, or not a bust, but the decoration of himself. Now, if you look at it carefully, you see that there's a crack over his right eye, which is very foretelling.
Foreshadowing.
Or, yeah, foreshadowing, shall we say.
Yep. Definitely that he's losing an eye this movie.
Yep. And we then see that Hela is looking for the surviving Asgardians so that they can also get the sword, because she knows that Heimdall has the sword, to the Bifrost, because, well, she needs the Bifrost to go places and conquer the world, or conquer the 9 realms. But yeah, everybody made it out of the hideaway up in the mountains, and they head for the Bifrost. Well, we then see Thor on the throne with Gungnir, which Gungnir has his own powers, which is pretty cool. The Spear of Odin. And Heimdall, or Hela, hears it, so she immediately goes, and they talk to each other, and he's like, love what you've done with the place. And she's like, well, Odin, you didn't know him really well. Not at his best. Where do you think he got all this gold? And it's like, I don't know, peace treaties? But I like the line that he drops at the end. He's like, our father once said, a wise king never seeks out war, but she actually finishes it, but must always be ready for it. So basically, yes, she knows her father's words as well as he does. And they were both banished and exiled. And he's like, I don't really want the throne. It's one of the reasons why I do what I do, but you're just so, and true, you have a claim to the throne, but you're just so evil.
Yeah. She's basically like a war tyrant, basically. So.
Oh yeah, she's very much so. So the fight between them, as Heimdall gets to the Bifrost, and he's almost to there, but inside of the Bifrost is a bunch of Draugr, as well as Fenrir standing before them. And it's like, oh shit. Well, then they're like, everybody back, go back, go back. And well, then there's the Draugr behind them, and Scourge is like, Heimdall, the sword. And the pleasure cruiser is getting ready to fight. And I like how Valkyrie loads up the weapon onto a bunch of pillows.
Yep.
That's what you got. You got to do what you got to do. And she also gives a nice little shimmy for Bruce. And it's like, oh, okay, shake your ass a little bit more. And it's like, the stupid dog won't die. And Bruce is like, all right, well, don't worry, I'll take care of it. You wanted to know who I am? Watch. And so he jumps and he just lands on the Bifrost pretty much dead. And I like how that actually stops Fenrir. Because Fenrir is like, screw this, whatever. Okay, that was just like totally unnecessary, but I'm going to kill everybody else. And actually, it's like, okay, well, Hulk comes out because Banner's fucking useless. And he starts tosses Fenrir off the bridge.
Oh yeah, the fight between Hulk and Fenrir, like however brief it was like.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. But I love Valkyrie's reaction. She's like, that's how I know him. He's angry, or he's the big guy. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe pretty sure I'm thinking, Or I'm pretty sure she's thinking, I can't believe I fucked this guy before. His chances, thing is, Hulk's been getting some. We all know that he has a kid in the She-Hulk show.
Yep.
But it's like
a badly CGI'd kid, but
yeah. And it's like, well, there you go. And so we get the fight on the bridge and the fight between Thor and Hela, and she cuts out Thor's eye, which is pretty damn dark.
yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, honestly, like the effect is like brutal right there.
Yeah.
It's
because
just,
she just slashes and he turns and there you go. There's the reveal.
Yeah, and then like, there's like blood cysts over there. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, she's like, ugh. Now you remind me of him.
Yeah, it's just the eye.
Yep, and then she gets over there, or as she takes him out to the balcony, freaking Loki arrives. Your savior has arrived. It's like
after everyone has done like probably half of the fight.
Yeah, right. And Heimdall's like, saw you coming. Oh, I know. So they're still, all of them are still fighting, and Korg is down there, Meek's down there. Hey man, Korg, we're getting out of here on my ship. Want to come? Friggin' saves Heimdall, which is fun. So she's like, you see Thor laugh, and so she grows a blade out of her elbow and just drives it into him. It's like, oh damn.
Yeah, it's like a soul eater weapon.
Yep. And then she's like, what were you the god of again? And then we see him on death's door.
And then with Odin, it's like going.
Yep. It's back to Odin again. He's like, even when you had both eyes, you could only see half the picture. And he's like, she's too strong. I can't face her without my hammer. Are you Thor, god of hammers? That hammer was never the source of your strength. It only helped you focus it. I mean, Anthony Hopkins truly kills it as Odin. He is he has that wisdom and he turns out he didn't like filming in Marvel because of all the green screen. Everybody says he didn't like filming as Odin. It's like he didn't like the green screen aspect of it, folks. That is what, if you really read what he said, it was all green screen and it takes you away from the acting aspect.
I do kind of understand that because, like, honestly, like if you're like an actor. And if you're just filming against like a green screen, like it's not just like, the costume you're wearing or like the lines. It's like, like the environment you're in, the setting. So I kind of do get where Anthony Hopkins is coming from, not liking the green screen stuff.
Well, not only that, he's always been used to going against, not with green screen, but practical sets. And so we also see that Ian McKellen had a problem with the green screen for The Hobbit because he actually broke down crying during filming because he couldn't, or he was having a hard time trying to look at different spots to where the different actors would be in the scene or in the same scene, but scaled down.
Oh yeah, like it's like, and they're like supposed to be in like wilderness too,
or Bilbo's cabin. Or Bilbo's house at the time.
Yeah, like in different, in like the wilderness, basically, like with like the Hobbit villages. Okay, I could see how that would be very difficult.
I mean, he just broke down crying. He's like, "I'm sorry, I just can't do this." So they actually made him a little hut. The production team made him a little hut so he could come back and rest, which was nice. And so, Hulk finally gets Fenrir off the falls and manages to save himself there. But after Thor finally gets his reawakening, he hits Hela with like the mother of all lightning blasts.
Yeah. 6 blasts.
It's like, fuck you, bitch. Boom!
That was like really cool. I was just like, I was like, when I saw it in theaters, I was just cheering. I was like, yeah.
Have you ever seen Over the Hedge?
Yes.
Manny the squirrel, or Manny the, is he a squirrel or is he? Yeah, he's a squirrel,
Yeah,
not a
yeah, he's a
chipmunk.
squirrel.
When he first sees the hedge, he's like, I mean, that's basically what I did when I saw this in theaters. It's like, holy shit! When you see this huge freaking blast of lightning hit her and it just knocks her on the ground. Didn't do anything to her. Should have split the bitch in half, but it didn't. It's like, holy shit. And so Hulk comes back down to the immigration song, and that's what it's called, immigration. And or immigrant or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Somebody did an alternate cut of this very same scene where it's put I think it's Donna Summer's I Need a Hero. And I'm thinking that would have been better.
Yeah, I think that would have been better on that.
Because it's like Thor is coming down full hero mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just wrecking the shit out of all these Draugr.
Yeah, the song doesn't really fit the fight all that much.
Yeah,
like
really
if you're using like existing music, you got to make sure it fits. Like,
yeah, and that's why I actually like it better when there is a score to the Thor movies, because when you look at the score for the original Thor movie, it's a very repetitive score, but it works. It is something that is of nobility,
yeah, like regality.
Regality, yeah. And I swear to God, that's the music I go to. I literally play Thor's 4 different scenes or 4 different pieces from the Thor soundtrack just when I need to unwind, calm down, and whatnot after a long day. It's like, just listen to that, and I'm just mellow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's probably like the only scene where I definitely was like, this doesn't sound right. Or at least like in Ragnarok, like I didn't mind the music up till then, but I'm like, this doesn't sound right with this scene. Could be like what's supposed to be the climax of the movie, pretty much.
Yeah. And so they finally clear the bridge and are allowing everybody to escape. But Hela's getting back to the bridge, and it's like, hit her with the lightning blast. I just hit her with the mother of all lightning. It didn't even phase her. So she basically pins the refugee ship from escaping with one of her things. And Scourge is on the ship, and he's hiding out, but then he somehow has Des and Troy there, and he's like, you know what, Loki, I think, or this has never been about preventing Ragnarok. This is about causing Ragnarok. And I'm thinking to myself, you guys weren't even talking about Ragnarok. What? The way that it is delivered, the way that is cut together, it is just like really weird. Loki, I know how to beat her. This isn't about preventing Ragnarok. This is about starting Ragnarok. It's like, but when did Loki learn about Ragnarok coming?
I feel like there was like a deleted scene that
there. Either that or there was additional dialogue that was cut out of the film.
Yeah, like for post-production editing or something. Like,
yeah. And it's like, I'm not getting it, you know? So he's like, the Eternal Flame. He's like, this is a bad plan, but it's the only one we got, you know? Get Surtur's crown into the Eternal Flame. And Loki gets there to the vault, grabs up the Surtur's crown, but he takes a look at the Tesseract, and it's like, oh, you son of a bitch. You're going to steal that again.
Yep.
And lo and behold, we know what happens. And so he puts the crown in the Eternal Flame, and I love that he's like, with the Eternal Flame, you are reborn. And you actually see that Surtur starts to grow right at there. So he's like, Hela, enough. Because also Scourge has his redemption where he starts blasting Draugr and jumps out of the ship for Asgard. And it's like, notice how everybody from Lord of the Rings that was cast in an MCU film were bad guys. You had Elrond, who was an elf. Red Skull.
Yep.
Scourge was a bad guy. Redeemed himself. Was whatchamacallit? Aelmare.
He's Elmer?
He is Aelmare from Lord of the Rings. Yep.
Oh, I did not recognize him.
Aelwyn's twin brother.
I did not recognize him with that cut.
Yep. He was Aelmare. And Kate Blanchett, who is the goddess of death. Well, hold on. Bilbo is not a bad guy. Bilbo was just a CIA agent.
Yep.
Also, Richard Armitage, who plays Thorin Oakenshield. He was a Nazi, a Hydra agent in Captain America and the First Avenger. He was the one that was trying to run away with the formula that Steve stopped. That was him. So apparently a lot of Lord of the Rings people and a lot of the Lord of the Rings cast jumped ship to Marvel. I mean, there are just so many people that jumped over, you know? And hold on, I just got a weird thing here. All right. But yeah. So she then kills Scourge because, well, he's an asshole for betraying her. But I love this. She's like, you can't beat me. Oh, I know, but he can. And that's perfect timing because frickin' Surtur just busts out.
Yeah, that became like a meme.
Yeah. I mean, it's some of the greatest memes. It's like, you can't beat me. No, but he can. And it's perfect because when he's as big as a mountain, Clancy Brown's allowed to use his deeper voice. Because when he's huge, he's actually a lot more
ambient.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like Asgard.
I am your doom or your reckoning.
Yeah, I'm your reckoning, and they starts torching everything.
Yep. And so frickin' Hela gets knocked off the bridge because she's like, oh shit, I gotta stop this asshole. So then everybody's finally safe and whatnot, and Valkyrie and Thor are talking to each other. It's like, we're fulfilling the prophecy. I hate this prophecy. True, but Surtur destroys Asgard with Hela on. It's all we can do. And you see Hulk in the background.
He just like leaps out back and he just like tries to punch.
He goes after frickin' Surtur and it's like, oh no! But he actually hurts Surtur. Surtur's like, oh!
It's like, Hulk, no! Stop smashing!
For once in your life, don't smash! So frickin' Surtur's like, fucking asshole. Just throws him.
Yeah, just like flicks him like a...
Yeah, he's like, God damn it. Hulk, for once in your life, don't smash! Big monster! No! So he's like, all right, fine. So they finally get up to the ship and Loki's up there, or Loki somehow escapes too. And this is when Hela makes her last stand. Now you actually think she might actually beat Surtur, but Surtur's not feeling it. He gets stabbed a couple times and he's like, oh, screw this. Sword up, down. And I love the look on Hela's face. It's like, oh shit. And if you actually look, you see her completely just explode.
Pretty much. It like explodes in like yellow or whatever. It's just like kind of crazy defeat right there.
Yeah. And it's like, well, bitch, you're dead.
Ding dong, the bitch is dead.
Yep. So everybody escapes, and Thor puts on an eye patch, looking like Odin. Wonder where he got it from. But anyway,
someone's got it in his pocket.
Yeah. And so I like how before that, they're all looking at Surtur putting the sword deeper and deeper. And I love Korg. He's like, we can rebuild this place if the foundations are strong. We can rebuild this place. It will become a haven for those across the universe. Boom!
Yeah.
Oh, those foundations are gone. Never mind. It's like,
yeah.
We can rebuild it. Boom.
Yeah, I love Korg.
Never mind. It's like fucking idiot. So he's like, what have I done? You saved us. Asgard's not a place. It's a people. And that only tells you that Heimdall even heard the discussion between Odin and Thor, even though it was on a completely different plane. So it's like, what the fuck, man?
Well, he's not the all-seer for nothing.
All-seer, all-hearer? If I knew Heimdall existed, I would not want to do anything. It'd be like, dude, get your fucking eyes off of me. I feel violated.
Stop staring.
Right? I mean, you wouldn't be able to do anything without that bastard knowing.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get the scene where he puts an eye patch on and Loki's there. He's like, if you were really here, I'd give you a hug. And so he throws the thing at him, expecting it to go through him, and he catches it. I am here. So we get the nice reminiscence of the Thor theme from Thor 1.
Yep.
Where he's going up and he's like, so, King of Asgard, where to? Oh, I don't know. Meek, where are you from? Oh, Meek's dead. Yeah, I accidentally stepped on him during battle and I just felt so bad, so I've been carrying his body around. Then Meek wakes up and it's like, oh, he's alive, everybody. What was the question again? Like, what the fuck?
I love that. Oh my god.
Right? It's like, what the fuck? Earth it is. And we then get the credits, but in between the credits, we get Thor and Loki talking. It's like, is it a good idea to go back to Earth? Or to go to Earth? Yeah, everybody loves me on Earth. Let me rephrase. Is it a good idea for you to bring me to Earth? Oh, I don't see why not. I mean, just don't cause any trouble and whatnot. Right. Well, I don't think anything can get any worse, you know? How bad can it get? Well, yeah. That's when Thanos' ship just rises up, and it's like, oh, you guys are fucked.
Oh, yeah, they get fucked over.
Oh, yeah. And so then the other scene at the end of the credits is the Grandmaster's coming out of a freaking threesome that he just had during this revolution against him. And it's like, hey, guys, yeah, you guys, what a great revolution. It was totally successful. I played a big part. You can't have a revolution without a dictator to overthrow. So, yeah, we'll call it a tie. And I'm thinking to myself, what a fucking asshole.
Wow. He's just like, yeah, I came out of a threesome. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's like, I was just fucking these two chicks. So, yeah, you got, good job. You won. Fuck it. You guys want an orgy? But, yeah. So how would you rate Ragnarok?
Oh, Ragnarok. Yeah, I still think Dark World is the worst.
Okay.
It felt like two different movies like spliced together for some reason, and then the villain was just a bore.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, a complete bore. And I know I sound like I'm a little echoey.
Not really.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Maybe it's just on my end, but so I did like it. Fun space romp kind of. I do think yeah, the tone is a bit misplaced. I feel like there's too many sexual jokes for what Marvel has been up until that point. There's a little bit here and there, but like not as egregious as this. So yeah, the tone is a bit wrong for this movie. And then there were a few lines where it's like, oh God, really? You can start to see it seeping in, like the DI stuff seeping in a bit. It wasn't as egregious as it is now, but so, and Hella villain, great actually. I think Kate Blanchett did a good job. Clancy Brown did a nice job as Surtur, not Scourge. Similar names, so similar names, but yeah. So overall, this was a good, enjoyable movie to watch again. I think probably, and then like the music choices, I think at the very least for the climax of the movie, like that was questionable. I'm like, no, why Phil Collins for that? Yeah. So I'm gonna have to give this movie a 7 out of 10 overall. Pretty good, pretty fun. Some questionable choices, but other than that, like solidly written, and like The Dark Will, I didn't feel like I was falling asleep through half of it. So yeah, all right, that's it for me. So take it away.
All right. As for me, I do my 3 tiers of reviews. Let's see here. Objectively, without bias, this film is well put together. It is done well for what it is. Comedy MCU film. However, there are inconsistencies with editing. There are some areas that are just not well acted.
Oh yeah, that too. Like, or at least like the consistency part. I noticed that.
And when it comes to different scenes where the like I said with the Loki scene where he's like, this isn't about preventing Ragnarok, this is about causing Ragnarok. It's like, yeah, but where's the other part of this conversation that we didn't see? So it's like
it might have made more sense if Thor said it to like Heimdall or something.
Or to
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been better for that. And it's like, well, yeah. Also, so this movie does fit to about a 7 out of 10 objectively. Subjectively, I put this at about a 5 because this was tonally different from the other Thor movies. This movie was all jokey and whatnot and completely went away from what Thor was. Thor was a hero who had to gain humility. Thor was a hero who had his hero's journey, and this movie is a step back for him because now he's all, oh yeah, everybody loves me and whatnot. It's like, dude, you're regressing to what you were before you were banished. So honestly, I didn't like Taika Waititi's adaptation here. As for moviegoer, it is a 10 out of 10. It keeps your ass in the seat, lets you watch it and whatnot. It's good. So this is what we got next week, folks, coming up, which is hopefully going to have more of the Hat Crew assembled for this one. But thank you to Riot Kitty for joining tonight. Next week is the Black Panther, where Black T'Challa is going to be going up against the Black Hitler. So yeah,
I like the font he chose. That's pretty nice.
I was trying to find something that was kind of claws-like or sharpish.
Yeah, so that's good choice.
The one that, that's what I could think, or that's what I had available. So, but yeah, and it's purple and silver, so which is the Black Panther's colors. But yeah, we'll discuss that one next week. So again, tomorrow is my mystery review, which is Time Cop. People guessed it, and Sharknado review even or at 8 o'clock It's only going to be a 30-minute review. So of me just kind of like geeking out on how fun it was, but also how crazy and utterly insane it is. And Tuesday and Wednesday, no content. I'm going to be recovering from surgery on Wednesday, but I'm having the surgery, or Tuesday is when I'm going in under the knife. Or
I hope the surgery goes well, Orange Chat, and rest up,
Yep,
Take
thank
it
you very
easy.
much. And Thursday singles is pushed back to next week because Mara and I have, well, I'm going to still be healing, and Mara has other stuff that she has to do. So we'll be doing Dog Soldiers next Thursday. And Black Panther coming up then. As for me, folks, and Riot, we are done for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Vanya, Fuck Norris, Kristen Freights, and Vader Fanatic. Thank you all for joining. Y'all are amazing and awesome people. Have a wonderful night. And before we go, is there anything that Riot you want to plug again?
Well, I guess like at the beginning of the stream, I am recording the next video for my Ruby Rewrite, which is a show made by Rooster Teeth Animation that is under the Warner Brothers umbrella. So yeah, I hope you guys can check that out as well when that's done, and as well as my newest time lapse featuring my original comic characters. So thank you all for watching, and make sure to sub to Orange Chat and hit the bell for all notifications as well if you haven't already.
Alrighty, thank you all. And make sure you sub to Riot Kitty as well, folks. We're all going to get out of here, so you all have a wonderful night. And always remember, stay humble.